everyone, it's Darby with rejoiceandcreate.com, and I have another quick Valentine treat for you today, and it's this one. It's a little candy pouch that holds two little chocolate hearts, and these are the hearts I used. They're the Palmer Valentine Variety Mix that I got for $2.49 at my grocery store, but they're the same size as the Hershey's hearts, so you could use those as well. And I thought it was a very nice reminder for Saint Valentine's Day that you are loved always. Not just by us, but God loves us as well. And I used some cardstock that was, let's see, 3 inches by 5.5 inches. And I'm going to use the powder pink one this time. For the heart, I used the Sweet and Sassy Hearts framelits from Stampin' Up! And I actually used 2 different sizes. I'll show you a different one. I used the one that was, let's see, probably about 2, and let me move it over there, about 2.5 inches by 2.25 inches. And I also used the next one smaller on one of my projects, which is just about 2 3/8 of an inch by 2 1/8 of an inch. So just go ahead and find the ones you like, or find whatever heart punch or even stickers that you want to use, and that's what you can use. For the Just For You, I used the stamp from the Sure Do Love You, but I also have some other ones from other stamp sets that I used. Happy Valentine's Day, I love you, you're amazing, just for you, all kinds of different ones that you can use. And for the John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he sent his only son, I used the labeler alphabet. And this is really fun. You can set it up any way you want to, and I used a variety of different letters and numbers to write the chapter and verse. For the arrow, I actually used a retired Stampin' Up! Punch, the arrows. But I can show you how I did it another way. For this one, it gives the hint of an arrow, and I actually used the classic label punch on that one. Or you don't need the arrow at all. And for the ribbon, I used the Cherry Cobbler ribbon. I think it was out around Christmas time, actually, and has X's on it, but it kind of reminds me of XO, you know, that for loving you. So I went ahead and used that for this one as the Cherry Cobbler. And because of that, I used the Cherry Cobbler cardstock on this one, on both of these, as well as the Cherry Cobbler ink, and then for this one, chocolate chip for the John 3:16. All right, now this goes very quickly, so let me show you how I did it. Okay, start with your piece of 3 by 5.5 inch cardstock, and we'll put the 5.5 inch one first. And then we'll score it at 2.5 inches and 3 inches. And then flip it around and score it at 1/2 of an inch. All right, now fold and burnish your score lines. All right, now let me bring back one of my other ones. And if you notice, it kind of has a kind of heart shape, but actually kind of a gem shape. And it kind of also reminds me of the S from Superman. But to do that, I just measured 1 inch down from each side, and I cut straight across. So let me show you how I did that. So on the side that doesn't have the 1/2 inch score line, just put it down. And you only have to measure once, even if you're doing a whole bunch of classroom ones, because once you measure one time, and I'll do this on the inside, just a tiny dot on each side. After I measure once, I can use it as a template for all the rest of mine. All right, so all I did was cut from one mark to the other mark. And it doesn't matter if you're exact or not, because all you're going to do now is just push these over until you put it flush and use that as a template for this side. Okay? And if you're doing a bunch of them, just stop at this part, and you can use this as a template for all the rest of them that you do. But we'll go ahead and continue on to make our box. So what I'll do is cut up close to the rectangle side and notch in a little bit for the square again on this one, just right on the rectangle side of the score line, and notch into the square. And I'm not doing these because they're going to help me line it up properly. All right, so there's no front or back, so go ahead and put on the inside of one of these tabs some strong adhesive, and then flip this little tab up and put just a little touch of adhesive in there because it'll help just hold it together. So I'll push that one down for now, and the one that has the adhesive I'll put over the other one, and I'll line up the score lines and the top line because that helps me the most. All right, so there we have it. Now one side has the seam, so this is the other side, and I'm going to snug those top two together with a 1/8 of an inch hole punch. I'm going to eyeball it right in the middle, more or less, to make a hole for my ribbon. All right, so let's do our heart. And I went ahead and started on this one, and I put the John 3:16. And with a marker, I'm just going to go ahead and make the colon that separates the chapter and verse. And for the just for you on this one, I think I'll use a black to make a little bit of a contrast. Where's my stamp? Okay, here's the stamp, just for you. And hopefully I have enough ink. I did a lot of things over Christmas and I haven't re-inked it yet. It should be okay. All right, make sure I'm right side up. Okay, and for this one, I think what I'll do is I wanted to sponge around the edge or color around the edge, and you can roll it around your ink pad, but I'm just going to take the marker I had a minute ago and just make a little bit of an edge around it. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just makes it pop a little bit. Or alternatively, what you could do is just cut the next bigger size heart out. And I'll go ahead and do that. We're going to layer. And to show you the other way, as I said, on one of them I used this little arrow because you can just punch it out. I cut it in half, and then I just glued each half of them onto the opposite sides of the heart. But how you can do it with a classic label punch is I just went ahead and cut a piece of a label in black. And then I took it and threaded it through one side. I'm right-handed, so let me do my right side better. And went ahead and lined it up and punched it. So what that does is it gives me an arrow for one end and a back of an arrow for the other end. So let me just go ahead and do a touch of adhesive on it, and I'll put my back of the arrow on one side. And then another touch of adhesive, and I'll put my front of an arrow in on this side, kind of eyeballing it so it lines up together the best I can. I probably would have put them a little bit higher up. Let's see if I can do that without tearing it too much. So yeah, the arrow's on that one. Let me angle this one so it actually makes sense. Okay, so, all right, now that makes a little more sense. And then we'll just go ahead and stick it. And you can use some foam dots on this one as well. But I went ahead and just layered it right in the center of my little, I guess, diamond shape, because it kind of looks like a gem. Then I went ahead and put my two hearts in. And how I did this actually was I put one in this way and one in this way so they could kind of fit together a little bit better. And then I went ahead and put my piece of cherry cobbler through. And of course you can use any ribbon you want. And I tried to get it so that the X's were out, kind of as I said, reminded me of the XOXO. And I just tied a bit of a knot. So this goes very quickly, especially if you're doing classroom treats. And these I'm giving to my kids that I teach faith formation to. So they're going to a Christian classroom. But it's a nice little reminder, because some people need to know that God does love us, and He's out there with us all the time. All right, let's go ahead and just cut a little bit of this angle off, and there we go. A very cute and quick little treat for classrooms or coworkers, or even just to hand out for people who might need an extra smile and to know that they're loved. And I hope you enjoyed this project today. I hope you give it a try. If you need more information, please go to rejoiceandcreate.com. And until we meet again, I hope your days are blessed. Bye!